great income from home. I absolutely love equipping and empowering people, giving them different mindset hacks, ideas so that they can go from where they are to where they want to go. And if you're in a place right now where you are struggling, this is going to be an amazing conversation for you. And, I have a pretty large network. And anytime I look to add value, I always say to myself, who's the person that can communicate this message the best? So I reached out to my good friend, Bishop Charles Johnson, who is a successologist at Mountain Movers and also a senior pastor at the Well Church. And I wanted to create a conversation with Charles here today. So Charles, thanks so much for being here, man.
Terry, thank you so much for the opportunity. You are part of the reason, part of my story for being where I am, the whole successologist thing, meeting
What the
at
heck does that even mean, man?
we were we were at the I think it was Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme donuts,
We
yeah.
met at Krispy Kreme and we were talking about, marketing and this, that, and the other. You were asking me, well, what do you want to do? Who are you? And all that kind of stuff. And it was just at the beginning of me really getting into doing some coaching and stuff like that. And we got into the conversation about how coaching is kind of played out, the whole title. Just come up with your own title. And so I was like, okay. So I started going through the dictionary and asking myself, okay, who am I? What do I do? And I said, I love success. And I teach the principles, and I live those principles and methods and all those things. And I said, well, I'm kind of like a successologist. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. And it has stuck. I mean, it has stuck. People all over the country, if they don't know who I am, they'll be like, the successologist. I was like, yes. So I blame you. It's all your fault.
Well, good. I received that. Thank you very much. Well, we are certainly in some very unique times right now, and I do know that people at all social and economic levels. I don't really care what you do or what kind of family environment you have, but there's some struggles going on right now, and,
Right.
and people are looking for maybe new ways of navigating this thing called life. I'm curious, what are you hearing as a coach, as a pastor, that are the things that are on the top of people's minds right now, the biggest concerns?
The biggest thing is uncertainty. Just don't know what to expect
Right.
during this particular time that we're in, and especially after this. What is this going to look like after this is done? What is my job going to look like? What is my business going to look like? What am I going to look like? My family, all these different things. And one of the biggest things I say to people as it relates to uncertainty is do your best to plan the best you can.
Mm,
Meaning, you can't worry about what's going to happen 6 months from now.
right.
All you can really concentrate on is what's going to happen tomorrow. You can plan, be creative. Don't move so much in fear of the unknown, but also know that there's certain parts of it you can control. Especially as a business person, this is a huge opportunity as a business person to reinvent yourself, to become more creative, to find out who your real customers are, what they need, how can you more creatively meet that need. Even as a pastor, a lot of my colleagues were like, okay, are people going to actually come back to church after this? Because we've been doing it online and they're used to sitting in their pajamas in the bed. Are they coming back? And so even with some of my colleagues, I say to them, there's going to be some people that will come back, but there'll be even more that won't, because they're getting almost kind of spoiled. They don't want to get up out of the bed anymore. They can work from their bed. I mean, you don't have to go to the grocery store. You you can go to Instacart and have all your stuff delivered and all this stuff. So we have to be creative as well. Upgrade, how we present ourselves online and know that we're talking to the world. I'm not just talking to people that's right here in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area. We're talking to the world.
Yeah.
So it presents a great opportunity for us to be able to transition. But my one of my biggest things is our mindset. Fear and faith can't exist in the same space.
Right.
So you're going to have to choose which one you're gonna go with.
Yeah, and I think it's so important right now to slow down and really reflect on who we are, what are our core values,
Yeah.
and how do we want to see ourselves on the other side of this, whatever that is, whenever that happens.
Happens. Yeah.
I think things will be different, and we get to decide on how we show up. I posted something the other day that says, are you getting fitter or fatter? Are you
Uh-huh.
are you focused or frustrated? And you know what? I think that's a choice. So I think a big part of that is mindset in terms of how we're going into this. But
Hmm.
let's talk about the importance of creating that mindset for success and
Hmm.
define what success is if you can.
Well, success is very, very relative. It really depends on the person.
Right.
What a person considers success can be vastly different from someone else. However, if you don't have a picture of it for yourself personally, you'll never know when you get there. So it's important to have a picture. This is what success means to me. Peace in my home. It might be a passionate relationship. It may be $1 million in the bank and a private jet and all. That's fine. And I think that success doesn't have to be approved by other people. What your model of it is, we don't have to agree. You can have your level, I can have my level of success. But again, it starts with mindset, and mindset starts with a choice, just like you
Mm.
were just saying. One choice that I've made every day, and I know you're part of one of the things that you talked about some time ago was being happy. One of
Yep.
the things I've decided is I decide to wake up happy. That
Yep.
is a decision. That
Mm.
is something that I choose to do. Has nothing to do with what I have or don't have. Has nothing to do with whether I have money in the bank or not, or whatever else is going on. I choose it. And mindset is about making choices.
Mm.
We have control. You do have some say over how an experience will affect you,
Right.
how you're going to look at a certain thing. Just like we were saying before, what we're going into now, I choose to be optimistic. I
Right.
choose to see that this is going to work out for me. And one of the other choices I made to help facilitate that choice is I don't watch a whole lot of media. I'm
Right.
not all caught up in every press conference. I'm not watching, the death toll go up and down and all those kinds of things. I watch to make sure I'm informed, and then I'll go watch some old some old ESPN clips, or I'll go watch the weather, or I'll go watch some old editions of some old show I hadn't seen in a while. But that's a choice.
Right.
And in order for our mindset, your current mindset has gotten you to where you are right now.
Right.
In order for you to go any further than where you are right now, you're going to have to change your current mindset. And because mindset, it's like when you turn on the air in your house. You set it to a certain temperature, but then somebody opens the door, and
Right.
then if it's hot outside, it gets hot in the house, and so the air conditioning unit starts to fight to get it right back down to where it was before. So mindset is the same way. I can move to a different place, I can get a different job, but if my mindset doesn't change, I'll end up right back in the same place that I was before, just
Right.
in a different location.
Right. Yeah. And I think for most people, myself included, mastering that mindset muscle is not an easy thing to do. And I notice you got one or two books behind you there,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, just one or two.
you're always working on that bread for the head, which Jim Rohn
Oh,
says
I
is
like
really,
that.
really so important. But it is a choice. You can choose to watch TV at night or all day, or you can choose to develop your mind by putting more good stuff in, those positive influences. And
Yeah.
I think the other thing Napoleon Hill talked about this is the power of associations. Who
Hmm.
are you hanging out with?
Out with,
I love
yes.
I love you and what you stand for because you are the mountain mover. I mean,
Mm.
you get it done. You have the right attitude. But, how does a person, if they haven't gone down this road before, Charles, how
Mhm.
do they develop or start to develop that positive mindset muscle?
Well, you know what, Terry? The first thing I discovered was that I wasn't paying attention to what I was thinking.
Mm,
Les Brown talks about most people are on autopilot. They're
yep.
not even thinking about what they're thinking. And initially, it was difficult. It was hard. But the saying is everything is hard until it's not.
Right.
So it takes practice, and it takes paying attention to what am I thinking? How was that thinking affecting me? Is
Right.
that thought empowering me? Is that thought helping me get closer to my goal? Or is that thought holding me back?
Right.
So the first thing is to pay attention to what you're thinking.
Right.
After you start paying attention to what you're thinking, you have to ask yourself, is this thought going to get me to where I want to go?
Right.
Is this, and we have what, 80, 90 some thousand thoughts a day. So and we're battling with all types of outside influences and all those kind of things trying to get our attention. So it's going to take you some practice. One, paying attention to what you're thinking. How was that thought affecting me? And do I continue to want to feel that way? If you don't want to continue to feel that way, then you're going to have to look at the thought.
Mhm.
That thought made me feel this way. So when I think this thought, I need to change that thought. And it can happen in an instant.
Right.
Just in an instant. There have been times during this particular crisis that we're in right now, I would cough or I would feel a little tickle in my throat or something, and my mind will immediately start running, just
Yep.
immediately start running, and I have to catch the thought. Now, one of the things that I do, Terry, when I have a negative thought, I'll say something like "stop it." I'll say out loud, "Stop it." And if I can't say it out loud, I'll say it in my head, or I'll say "cancel, cancel, cancel," or I'll say, "Charles, come on now, you know that's not the truth," just so I can break up this negative thought, because thoughts have this magnetic ability. If you think one negative thought and don't stop it, another one attached to it, and another one attached to that one, and another one attached to that one. And 2 minutes now of bad thinking now becomes, oh, my whole day has been messed up. Oh,
Right.
my life is falling apart. Oh, this is the worst day of my life. No, it started with one thought that you didn't catch. And that thought, you've milked it the whole, you've milked it for 2 minutes now. So
Yeah.
it's extremely important.
Have you ever seen the Bob Newhart clip called "Stop It"?
No,
You have to watch it. It is so
Okay.
funny, but so spot on that it really makes you stop and think. One of the things that I do a lot is I have my journal,
Okay.
and for me, I've been on this path for so long. I kind of am aware of what I think and what I do or what I don't do, but
Hmm.
when I write it down, that's really where I can go back and reflect and say, okay,
Yeah.
6 months ago I was doing this. Now I'll share something with everybody. I have little reminders like this.
Uh-huh.
Post-it notes. I got post-it notes
Yes.
all over the place just to
I got them
remind
everywhere.
me because I need that. I need that influence. Right there,
Yes.
you go.
Yes, I got them everywhere. I got a
And
whole stack of them. See, I got a whole stack.
that's right. We all need that. And if you're
Yes.
going through that, it's okay. To me, it's not about perfection. It's about
Right.
progress.
Yes.
As long as we're doing that.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. So we gave folks some good ideas. So let's say somebody is going through this process.
Hmm.
They want to be a better version of themselves. They want to have good work ethic, character, success, be the person that they want to show up. But I know that people struggle with that.
Hmm.
So, what are some of the tools that you've used to overcome some of those struggles to take you a little bit closer to
Hmm.
success? Mr. Success,
Um,
just
one has been one has been do one thing at a time. When
uh,
we start talking about success and all that kind of stuff and improving and changing and all that, we get this long list of things. I got to change this and I got to change this and I got to change this. No, take one at a time. Just do one. The smallest changes in our life or improvements in our life typically make the biggest impacts, because the people that you speak with, typically the people that I speak with, they're not horrible people. I
right,
mean, they're not these just walking around with this cloud of negativity over them. They're not that way. Typically, it's one or two things that they need to concentrate on, maybe one or two habits they need to change, look at developing a different habit. And once they find that it's become a habit, just like with you and I have, these sticky notes all over. Now, when I first started this journey, I had them everywhere. Um, even I put them on my bathroom mirror, and I made sure to do each affirmation and all those things. But
yep,
once it became a habit, and it becomes a part of who you are, It's not so much now a task or something that I got to do. No, it's a part of who I am now.
Right.
It's a part of who I what I do. So then take one. It might be, instead of having a donut before you go to bed, drink some water. Or it might be, instead of watching television this time, go to YouTube and watch some inspirational video. Instead of trying to read a whole book in a week, one of the hacks I've used is you either read 10 pages or 30 minutes. After that, you're done. Don't
Right.
read anything else. So there are these little things, but just do one thing at a time, and that thing will get you closer. And then take on the next thing, and that thing will get you closer. Because one thing we're not in a race.
Right.
I'm not competing with Terry. Terry's not competing with me. I'm not trying to prove that I'm the smartest guy on the planet. No, 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 no. No. You move at your own pace. You do what resonates with you. We'll give you suggestions, but it may not fit your life. So take the things that we give you and apply that to your life and use what works. And the thing that doesn't work, I'll forget it. Find something else that does work and take those small steps towards success. And one day you'll wake up 6 months from now, a year from now, and you'll be experiencing or living in what you said you wanted before you started the journey.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's so powerful. That's the slight edge. Jeff Olson wrote that book.
Yes.
Those little things that you do that seem insignificant in the moment, but when compounded over a long period of time, will take you up the success curve or down the failure curve. And
Great
one
book.
of the things that I struggle with all the time is my squirrel brain that's always bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's like, even this morning, I journaled about slow down, get focused, and do one thing at a time, exactly what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
really appreciate you spending some time with us today here, Charles. If somebody
great.
wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can always find me on Facebook at Charles Johnson. You can find me on Facebook. You can also become a part of our little community called Mountain Movers Worldwide, also on Facebook. If you are an Instagram person, you can go to @the_successologist. I say that so slow because people tend to say sexologist. No, 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 no. That's something different. That's something totally different. Something totally different. Or you can call me at 919, my office number 919-228-9679.
Well, Charles, thanks so much again for spending some time with us on the Saturday morning. I know you're a busy man and certainly appreciate your contribution. And I appreciate who you are. I appreciate how you're denting the universe in your little way, because I know that with that small little ripple, mountains can indeed be moved.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Terry, for this, man. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the influence you've had on my life. I really, really appreciate you, man.
You're very, very welcome. And my friend watching this, definitely take, Charles' invitation, connect with him. He's an amazing person. He's connected with amazing people. You'll love him, his community. Just a great, great individual. Can't speak highly enough about him. So if you have any questions for him or myself, feel free to reach out to either one of us. And remember this, you have a choice. Make it a better than terrific day and a prosperous one, because you, yes, you absolutely deserve it. Until next time, bye-bye for now, everybody.